What is up, people? Welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV. Welcome back to another live stream. Coming off the back of, 2 days now? 2 days removed from that dreadful performance against Arsenal. Got an international break now, as you can tell by the title. I'm very happy about that. Thank the Lord. That we've got that international break coming up. We get a little break from Chelsea and all the nonsense. Just get to chill. But yeah, I'm going to go through that. Going to go through a little bit of the Arsenal game, my thoughts on that. Going to touch on, if we're progressing at the moment under Maresca, under just with where we're at the moment, and kind of where Chelsea go from here, for the rest of the season. And spoiler alert, from my perspective, I'm not massively positive for the rest of the season, but big up everyone that's watching, everyone that's kind of joining, coming in slowly. Big up to Daniel, big up to Nemaya. Yeah, where better place to start? Where better to start than that calamity, that just absolute snooze fest that happened on Sunday? I didn't expect us to win. I expected a draw, to be completely honest. I think both teams are crap. I think you saw that by the fact that Arsenal didn't really create much out of their own kind of bit good chances, if that makes sense. It was more just us being stupid in defence. And then when you got bozos at the back and bozos in goal and bozos up front and just bozos all over the pitch, you're going to get a bozo performance, and that's what we got. Yeah, it's not good enough. And ultimately, I put the blame firmly on Enzo Maresca. Like, there have been times this season where I've defended him. There have been times this season where I've tried to back him and back certain decisions he's made, and I can't anymore, because when the same players are playing and you're getting the same results from those players and you have other options on the bench and you refuse to play them, that's on you. Like, ultimately, that's on you. Like, I have to watch Sanchez play 90 minutes again. I have to watch him make bozo mistakes again. It took him 5 minutes to make an error against Arsenal. 5 minutes for him to make an error and pass the ball to an Arsenal player. Like, he is, like, he might be concussed. Like, I'm surprised he's not been brought up in concussion protocol. He might be concussed with the way he plays, or he's missing several brain cells. Yeah, I had to watch him play. He was terrible. And then outside of that, but just baddie as shit at the back. I'm going to keep it as respectful as I can, because this is not my channel and I'm not getting Alex in trouble. But there are some words I could have about Benoit Badiashile after that performance, and none of them are good. Again, just like Sanchez, just complete calamity, just nothing, mistakes constantly, passing the ball to the other team. It could just in no man's land for most of the first half. Second half improved a bit, but like, you'd already been so shit in the first half, it didn't really make a difference to me. And then the trifecta of crap that we had to deal with was the absolute waste of space we have on the left wing at the moment. And I don't know what, like, he's finished. He needed to leave in January. He needed to leave in January, and we didn't get rid of him. We let him stay. He's stayed. He's continued to do nothing outside of a performance against Southampton, which, by the way, he spent the first 20 minutes being crap in that game. If memory serves, it was either that game or the Villa game. He spent 20 minutes being crap and then improved after he scored. Yeah, he's terrible. He's an awful player. He is an awful, awful player. There's no shining light. There's no silver lining. There's no saving grace. There's nothing about Nkunku that fit, like, moves me. There wasn't, and I called this in October and November when he was stinking the pitch up against Noah because he scored a couple goals. People were like, "Oh, it's cool, it's fine." He is terrible. He is an awful football player. There's no effort, which is the bare minimum, by the way. Like, the fact I'm even having to say effort is a joke, because, like, if you look at our Arsenal game, I look at someone like Neto, right? Like, he was kind of isolated up front. He wasn't amazing, but the bare minimum he gave you was effort, and he was making runs in behind and trying to make something happen. That's more than I can say for any of the rest of the attack, but especially number 18. He is awful, awful, just terrible, and he should never grace the pitch for us again. He should never pull on a Chelsea shirt again. Like, Tariq George may be raw. He may not be ready. and there are certain things that he needs to improve on, but he's 18. I'd rather see him play. I'd rather see him play and learn than watching Nkunku do nothing for 90 minutes again. Yeah, and ultimately, like I said, I put the blame for this and for that and for these guys playing again on Maresca. Like, you'd fix the goalkeeper thing. Sanchez was making mistakes, you took him out. Jorgensen came in, was better. Yeah, he made a mistake against Villa. Yeah, it was Villa. I have to remember then. Yeah, he made a mistake against Villa, but he has been miles better than Sanchez has been this season. Like, miles better than Sanchez has been this season. And you kept and you it was working, like I said, nothing was wrong, and you took him out for no reason. It wasn't even like you took him out after he made the mistake in the Villa game. He then played the Southampton game and was good, and then you took him out for no reason. Apparently it's to clear Sanchez's head. Well, I guess he needed a clearer head. I guess he didn't have enough time out because he's still crap. He's still making mistakes, and he needs to go. He needs to leave out the door. But yeah, that's kind of how I felt about the Arsenal game. Like I said, like it's just not good enough. But like I said, I didn't expect anything. Like, we've got players not performing. We're playing a system that just isn't conducive really to what we've got. But we can't play anything else because we haven't really got a cohesive unit at the moment. We got players that haven't performed most of the season still not performing. Imagine my shock. And so we got what I expected. We made a terrible Arsenal attack look half decent. Martinelli was getting chances and was doing stuff. You just see the quality he lacks when he gets the box and it's the final pass or shot. It's the same with Trossard. Getting in good spots. A couple of times where Sanchez errors, his terrible Superman punches, he could have scored a couple, but his touch or his whatever let him down. So, like, that's what we get. If I've said, if we play a better team than Arsenal, if we play Forest and play that way, Newcastle play that way, Liverpool play that way, we're holding 3 or 4. Like, I'm hoping we don't play that way, but who knows? But yeah, it's not good enough. As I said, the what we're doing at the moment, what Maresca's doing with team selection, it's not even the tactics. Tactics I can allow because of certain things, but the team selection is terrible, week on week on week, and it's not good enough. And like I said at the start, thank God we got the international break. Get some players back. Getting Jackson back, get Madueke back. Lavia's already back. Played 9 minutes or whatever it was against Arsenal. Hopefully James can start some more games. I thought he was good. He was one of only a couple players that were good against Arsenal. And we kind of go from there. Like I said, I'm not hopeful. But like, I just don't know how to feel, man, because it's weird because I feel the way I do, and despite everything, and I have to keep saying this on like every stream to remind myself because it feels bad, and it like is bad with how we're playing and the results we're getting, but we're still 4th. Despite everything, we're still 4th, and I think it just shows the quality of this league is awful. Like, it's truly, truly terrible. This is probably the worst I've ever seen the Premier League in terms of the quality. It's absolutely awful. We played an Arsenal team that's 2nd in the league, that are technically in a title challenge, missing 2 players realistically in their attack in Havertz and Saka, and that's it. And they look like crap. Like, they're terrible as well, but we're worse, so we lost. So yeah, that's that. As I said, that's kind of how I feel. I don't really know kind of what else to speak on because it was that bad a game. Like, I could cuss out every player that played or most players, but I just can't be bothered. I'll be honest. I genuinely really just can't bring myself to just start cussing out every player. I felt it was just those 3 that needed the brunt of it. Sancho as well, to be fair, is the only other one. Like, he needs to be a bench player from now on. I think Madueke and Neto are our wingers going forward, or should be our wingers going forward. And yeah, he can sit on the bench. He can come on, make sub appearances, and play his way into form that way. And we kind of go from there with him. But yeah, as I said, big up to everyone that's locked in at the moment. I'm gonna go for a couple of comments. Big up to Jordan. As I said, big up to Daniel. I'm not surprised with the rest getting fed up with that because, like, it's not fun to watch. It really isn't. And I think the other thing that annoyed me, actually, there is one other thing about Maresca I've just remembered. We're 1-0 down against Arsenal. We need to get back into the game. This was I remember this was like the 60-something minute, I think, or 70-something minute. We're 1-0 down. There's no urgency in our play. There's no urgency. It's still pass, foot on the ball, hold the ball, wait for the press. Press isn't coming, so we play it around the back. Like, you're 1-0 down. You're not 2-0 up. You're not trying to see the game out. You're behind. Play with urgency. Like, I hated Poch, and I still do. But I know this isn't a player issue, because a lot of these players were able to play, that fast-paced football last season. And that chaos ball that we played. Like, I remember playing Nottingham Forest. Colwell played that game. I'm pretty sure either Gusto or James played that game. Who else did we have that would have played that game? Enzo and Caicedo would have played that game, I think. They wouldn't. They were. I don't know who else would have played that game. But you got people in this team who would have played that game when we lost at home, the 1-0 where Poch threw everything in the kitchen sink at the game to win, and we lost. We know how to play. Like, these players know how to play higher intensity. For me, that's not a manager. That's just not good enough. Ultimately, like I said, and as I said, I put it squarely on him to fix, and he hasn't fixed that. And if he wants to keep playing that, that's fine. But we're gonna keep losing games. We're gonna keep putting terrible performances. I do think the performances, will improve when the other players get back. Your Maduekes, your Jacksons, etc. But these guys aren't Super Saiyans. These guys aren't world beaters. These guys aren't incredible players we're losing. Like, I like these players. I like Jackson. I like Madueke. I like Lavia. I like the who else we got missing? Obviously Palmer's coming back. But they're not world beaters. They're not the best of the best. So how much am I expecting them to improve the results at the moment? And the short answer is I'm not, to be honest. What else is saying? Am I mad? I think it seemed like risk accepted the loss. I kind of accept. It's such a weird thing to say, because it seems like such a defeatist thing. But like, maybe that explains the poor like mentality in terms of keeping the ball, no real kind of attacking threat, and no real kind of impetus to go and get at the game when we're behind. Like, I've no idea, to be completely honest with you. What we're doing wrong is also he's not a terrible manager. We got 100%, wouldn't it? Tuchel's better than him. Like, Tuchel's one of the best managers we've had. Like, I'll be real. Tuchel is top 5 managers we've ever had. I'll be completely honest. I think the only people that are ahead of him that I can think of are Mourinho and Ancelotti, obviously. Probably Conte. Actually, yeah, Conte, as much as I dislike him because he won us a league title. And outside of that, like, there's not many managers that we've had that are better than Tuchel. So, like, yeah, 100% Tuchel's better than him. But, like, the goalkeeper situation is just one of a few issues at the moment. Like, he is statistically speaking the worst goalkeeper in the Premier League. He's made the most mistakes leading to goals, or joint most mistakes leading to goals. He's made the most errors leading to an opposition shot. He's given them. What was the stat I saw? He's the only player, I think, or he's the player with the most, most times losing the ball that leads to an opposition shot, I think is the stat or something like that. But that doesn't even take into account, I saw someone tweet this, doesn't even take into account the time he's given the ball away that hasn't led to a shot. Like, he is statistically the worst goalkeeper in the league, and he keeps playing him. But for whatever reason, I don't know. So hoofball's up to Neto, apparently. That was another thing as well. 33% pass accuracy is what Sanchez finished on. Sensational. Absolutely terrible footballer. And the day he leaves the club is a blessing for us all. I ripped the contract up instantly, to be completely honest with you. But unfortunately, I don't hold any sway at what goes on at Chelsea Football Club. What else are we saying in the comments? If you've got any questions, guys, leave them in the chat. And then, as always, smash the like button. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Moment, Jorgensen, Summer. Oh, Jordan. This guy in his comments. I have tried. There have been times I've tried not to. I think I've said on one of these streams on this channel, I'm trying to ignore his comments because otherwise they'll annoy me, and they will. And I've got annoyed because I saw his comments after the game against Arsenal. This man really tried to say that we controlled the game. I don't know if you know what the word control means, in football particularly, said we had enough chances to win. And then you have Caicedo as well coming out afterwards and doing this PR nonsense about how they've been together 7 years, we've been together 2. Pardon? The guy who scored the goal, Marino, is a new signing, who's a centre mid playing striker. Trossard's been there like 2 years. Rice has been there like 2 years. Saliba's been there like 3 years, I think, at this point. Raya's been there like 2 years, I think, at this point, 2 or 3 years. Timber has been there like 2 years, but missed an entire season for injury. So it's basically like 1 year. Who is feeding these players this nonsense? Like, who on earth? I know who it is, but who on earth and why are people feeding the players this nonsense? Because this is the second time Caicedo's done this. Remember when we got knocked out by, or not knocked out? Remember we got beaten by Middlesbrough in the Carabao Cup, that 1-0, and they had Caicedo come out in an interview and talk about how what was it? He said something like, "Oh, when I played them with Brighton, they beat us 2-0 or something. They were a really hard team to play against, and they beat us 2-0, or we just beat them 2-0." He wasn't there at Brighton. He didn't play in that game. I don't think he was even at Brighton at that point. If he was on loan. So yeah, this PR nonsense needs to die. It needs to just die, because it's not good enough. Like, and I'm sick and tired of hearing it, because it just comes across as like they think we're stupid and we can't think for ourselves. Which, like, way to insult your fans. Like, a way to insult your fans. Now, see, SGM, I disagree with the Spurs thing just because we always beat them. Like, I know there's a first time for everything, especially with how things are going at the moment, but I do think Spurs will win just because they are that bad and we always beat them no matter what. But they are like one of only like 3 teams I actually expect to be between now and the end of the season, which kind of says a lot about where I think we finish and where I think we go. Kind of go for the rest of the season, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, Daniel, I can't lie. I'm not. I don't blame you for thinking that. I still think we get 5th, but again, I think that's mostly because of how crap this league is. But there's also a part of me that does think, yeah, maybe we finish 6th again and get like Europa League or something. Which, if we do, that's a failure, man. Anything less than Champions League and winning the Conference League is a failure. It really is. Yeah, it has to be Champions League this season. Like, you can't. If we go 3 years without not being in the Champions League, that's the joint longest. Sorry, that is the longest we've ever been since Abramovich joined the club outside the Champions League. That's not acceptable for us. Not anymore. Like, that's not acceptable. So it has to be Champions League this season. No if buts maybes about it. Has to be this season. But yeah, in terms of kind of, as I said, where to next. What I wanted to kind of touch on was where we kind of, because I touched on it a little bit, it's kind of where we go from here and like the rest of the season, how I see it kind of going. And I've touched on it a little bit, as I said, and I think obviously we've got the international break now. We've got players coming back. I think we're going to have Jackson and Madueke and Palmer back. Labby is already back in the squad. Hopefully he gets more minutes. We've got James in the squad. We've got what's it called? We've got, I think, is that we got Hugh coming back. I don't really care. I'll be so honest. Like, he's not going to play. That's not me saying I don't care about him. It's just he's not going to play. Let's be completely honest. I think those are the main guys. Yeah, it's mainly just those guys. And yeah, and like I said, I don't think they're going to be enough to turn things around. I think if you look at a run-in from now to the end of the season, I see us getting 3 wins max. I see us getting 10 points in total out of our last, 9 games, 8 games? Let me have a look. Yeah, we've got 9 games left of the season. I think we get 10 out of 27 points, which is bad. Let's be frank, that's bad. Like, if we were to go through our games, we've got Tottenham after the international break. Excuse me, let me try that again. After the international break on the 3rd, I think we win that game, as I said. We always beat Tottenham, no matter what. We're at home. I think our home record at the moment is better than our away record, so I think we win that. After that, 3 days later, we have Brentford. For me, that's a loss. Our away record at the moment is terrible. I don't actually think we've had an away win. When was the last time we had an away win? The last time we had an away win was, let's see, how far back am I have to go? That's home. Where is it? Last away win we had in the league was Tottenham at the start of December. We are looking at nearly 4 months without an away win. Yeah, that kind of speaks to it. I think, as I said, I think Brentford, we only just beat them 2-1 at home. I think that was when we were good. I think we lose against Brentford. Who are we playing after that? We've got. I'm ignoring the Conference League for the moment because, like, we should win that, whether we will or not. That's a completely different conversation for another day. Of how we're going. Ipswich after that home, I think that's a comfortable win. I think that's fine. Fulham away, I think that's a loss. Like I said, away record is terrible. Fulham are in a bit of form right now. Everton at home, I'm in an argument about whether we win or lose or draw. I do think we win that game, to be completely honest. I think our record at home against Everton is pretty good. So I think we win that game. And then we come to the final 4 games, and oh boy. Jeez. So we've then got Liverpool at home. I think that we're losing that game. Unless they've won the league at that point and they're on the beach and they're drunk in that game, we lose that game. Newcastle away, I think we lose that game as well. Like I said, I don't see us in like turning around the way we're playing, especially defensively. It's not even going forward that worries me. It's defensively. Don't think we turn that around. I think we're going to concede at least 1 or 2 goals. That means we have to score 3 to win. Be interesting to see whether we actually can do that or not. Then we got United at home, and that's for me is a draw. We never beat United. We haven't beaten United. We've beaten United twice in 15 league games. The last manager to beat United outside of Pochettino, which is incredible, is Antonio Conte. So we didn't win under Sarri. We didn't win under Lampard. We didn't win under Tuchel. We didn't win in the league. I mean, obviously, Cup is a bit different. But in the league, we didn't win under Potter. We did under Poch just because of Cole Palmer. And then we didn't when we played him under Maresca earlier on in the season. See, I think that's a draw for me at home. And then we got Forest last day of the season. As I said, I think that's a loss as well. They'll be trying to secure top 4, definitely. They might have done at that point. But yeah, so like I said, 10 points. Draw against United, win against Everton, Ipswich, and Tottenham, and that's the sum total. That leaves us on, if we do get 10 points, that will leave us on 59 points. 59 points. Whether that's enough to get top 4, who knows? It wouldn't have been last season, but by the same token, if we got 59 points last season, we would have finished at 8th. So who knows? I'm hoping I'm wrong. Obviously, I want Chelsea to win every game. You know, like I think people can have labelled me as negative and whatnot and everything, but like I want my team to win. You know, like I just want my team to win. I want us to progress. I want us to do well, and hopefully we can. But I'm just not confident. I don't like with the way we're playing right now, and like I said, I don't think the players make that much of a difference. They'll make a difference, obviously, because Madueke's levels better than Nkunku, and Jackson's levels better than playing Neto up front. And like Lavia, if he comes back in, will add something into midfield when he plays. And hopefully, that means that also Reece James can play at right back, and that's going to be an improvement on playing anyone else at centre back that isn't Fofana. You know, and like so there are improvements that can be made, but like hopefully Cole Palmer's back in form when he comes back, hopefully. But like that's not going to change Enzo being crap the last 3 games. That's not going to change Cole being an absolute bum and just being absolutely terrible and trying to snap players' legs with a challenge. But that's another thing, by the way. Cole trying to snap a player's legs 20 minutes into a game for no reason. Fantastic. Yeah, it's not going to change Sanchez being a complete waste of space in goal and trying to Superman punch everything. So yeah, like that's kind of ultimately where I stand with that. I just have no faith going forward, really. With what we want to do and how we want to progress, and it sucks. Like I said, it sucks, and I hate talking about my club this way, and I hate seeing us this way, because at the start, amazing. I loved talking about my club, and I loved what we were doing, and I loved seeing like Jackson looking like he was progressing, and I love looking like at Palmer, even though he was not. Even though he wasn't putting the same performances in, he was still carrying on the same like goal scoring form, and you look like Madueke taking a bit of a step up, and we had the additions of Neto and Sancho and everything, and they all look positive, and then it's just gone downhill so quickly, you know. But that's kind of where I'm at. What are you guys saying in the chat? If this happened, like, I've contemplated this, by the way. I have contemplated this, and it can happen. Obviously, it can happen, but at the same time, it can't happen. Like, there should be no excuses. Like, we should be winning the Conference League. Like, we should be winning the Conference League. If we don't win the Conference League, which I'll be honest, like I think I said this after the Copenhagen game, if we play like we did against Copenhagen in both games, against Real Betis, we will lose. If we play like that way against Fiorentina, we will lose. I'll be honest, if we play like that way against Legia Warsaw, especially in the away leg, I could see us losing. Legia Warsaw are a better team currently at this point than Copenhagen. Like, yeah, I'm like I said, I think we win. I'm hoping we win. A lot of it is just because I can't fathom us not winning it. Like, that'd be the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to this football club. That's more embarrassing than finishing 12th. That's more embarrassing than being 16th with Jose. That's more embarrassing than anything else that's happened to us. Not winning the Conference League would be the single most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to us as a football club, bar none for me. Yeah, absolutely bar none. You're right, Daniel. 59 points is poor. Like, it's less than last season. Ultimately, like, objectively speaking, it's less than last season. Now, I know there's a conversation going on. I saw someone's asked about Poch or Maresca, and I still don't think Maresca's worse. I'll just put it out there. But objectively speaking, he got less points than Poch did with a very similar squad. So I can see why some people say he's worse. Like I said, I don't think he is, but it's kind of damning. It is kind of damning, to be honest. No, I would not take Conte back. Absolutely not. I despise the man. He tried to bankrupt this club. He tried to sue this club. He can go fuck himself. Like, no, I would never take Conte back. Like, absolutely not. I don't care. I also despise this. I also despise this football. Yes, I won a league title, and I'm grateful for that. But I also despise this football when it's bad and it goes wrong. It goes extremely bad. It's kind of like Jose's football in that sense. Would I cancel Sancho's loan obligation fee? I don't know. Probably not. Like, I think it all depends, right? Because apparently there's that clause or whatever. I've never heard of this happening before, by the way, that there being a clause apparently that we can get out of the obligation if we pay a fee or penalty or something. Like, I've never heard of this happening in football ever before. Depending on what the penalty is, like, maybe if it's like 10 mil, sure. But if it's like, because I think I saw someone apparently reported it's like 18 million, which, if that's the case, I'll just buy him, and like, he can be the bench option next season. Like, he can be the backup left winger for potentially someone else, or for potentially Neto, and have Neto starting on the left, and kind of go from there. But yeah, like as I said, it kind of depends on what the fee is. If it's 18 million or more, I'd just sign him. It's only 25 mil. It's not that much in the grand scheme of things. You could sell him on and break even or make even a bit of profit, depending on who you sold him to. If he can have a good season, which I think with the right recruitment in certain areas, striker mainly, and with a bit more time, and obviously I think next season, I think things will look a bit better potentially again if you get the recruitment right, just because like over time and with more reps and more training and more understanding, the team is going to mesh or like gel, I should say, more. But yeah, like I just don't see any point cancelling it, like personally, not at this stage. What else are we saying? When we had Lavia and Caicedo and putting Reece James and right back, we were cooking the league 100%. That's an interesting one. Like the whole Lavia thing's interesting to me because you're at a weird point. You either have to put Lavia in and you lose some creativity with Enzo. And up until the last kind of 2 or 3 games, I would have said you're taking an Enzo that's out of form out of the team. Or you start Enzo in there, and I think we see after the last few games, defensively, he's terrible. He's worse than Jorginho. He's like a traffic cone. But when he's on the ball, when he's giving you the passing and the creativity, he's amazing. When he's not, he is completely invisible. He's not doing anything. So I think it's a weird catch-22, and it can work. I think you just have to move some things about. And this is Maresca I'm talking about, has to move some things about, change some things to make it so, okay, even though you have Lavia and Caicedo there and they're not really going to offer you much going forward, that doesn't matter because maybe instead you've got James joining the attack a little bit so he can offer you something. He's kind of that 5th player in attack that can help you offer something and offset not having Enzo potentially, for example. But who really knows, to be completely honest with you. I mean, I can't lie to you, Daniel. I think the sporting director should be sacked now, immediately, yesterday, rip the contracts up. And yeah, with Maresca, like, I understand this. Like, I'm not going to say Maresca out, and I think I'm still of the mindset, especially considering the summer, how busy it's going to be, that, like, I just don't think the opportunity is there to sack him, even if I wanted him to go. And I don't know if I do yet, because I keep saying with the right recruitment, I think his system can work. But I think that is the key phrase, the right recruitment. We have yet to do the right recruitment for him. And ultimately, as I said, I want to see what it looks like next season. I want to see what he does with certain players coming back. Petrovic, Santos, for example. I want to see if Asugo is actually going to get game time or if that's just another waste of time signing like the Leslie one has now turned out to be. I want to see what's going to happen if we get a striker. I want to see what happens with Esteval if we get another winger, like those sort of things. I'm interested because, if we're having these conversations again, like a couple months down the line, then yeah, at that point, I'm like, cool, this guy's a lost cause, get rid of him. But that's kind of where I stand with Maresca. But at the same time, if Sanchez is the reason we don't get top 4, I can also completely understand it. I'd almost be on the side of yeah, get rid of him, because if he's going to keep picking Sanchez, he's a lost cause immediately at that point. And speaking of Robert Sanchez, yes, sure, I have seen this. Let me find the tweet because I saw this briefly while I was in the gym earlier. So I haven't actually fully read what is the whole thing. But I saw apparently. Let me find the tweet I saw. Where is it? Yeah, apparently, well, I saw. I don't know how what's it called? How reliable this is, because it's just some person that I've seen on Twitter tweet that apparently Robert Sanchez wants to leave Chelsea if he's not in the plans next season. I have one word to say to that. Bye. Yeah, he can leave. I said this earlier. Rip the contract up immediately. Rip the contract up. Just rip it up. That's what I'd do. I'd rip the contract up, or if you want some money, sell him for about 5 million to some random Spanish team or some championship team or Turkey or something because he needs it for his hairline or something. I don't know. Just get rid of him. 100% just get rid of him. He shouldn't be in this club next season anyway. If you have to keep him, he's not number 1 next season. It should be Petrovic, or it should be an improvement on Petrovic. If you're going to go and get a proper good goalkeeper like Chevalier, like Kerbal, someone like that. If you're not going to get someone like that, then it should be Petrovic for me. Going into next season. Oh, if you didn't mean Conte, you meant Tuchel. Oh, yes, absolutely. 100% I'd take Tuchel back in a heartbeat. I'll be real. I don't think No, I don't. I'm not want to word this. I was about to say I don't think we should got rid of him. Not that I don't think we should have got rid of him. I think it was right to get rid of him in terms of if the owners didn't want him as their guy. That's never going to work. Ultimately, in football, it never works. Like if a new owner comes in or a new sporting director, and you're not their guy, ultimately you probably need to leave. But at this point, it hasn't really worked since he's left, and considering they don't really care about the manager having say in transfers anymore, yeah, bring him back. Like, bring him back immediately. Tell him to stuff the England job, or he can maybe do it at the same time or whatever. I don't care. Yeah, bring him back immediately. I disagree, by the way, about the Adam Wharton thing. We don't need another midfielder. We just got another midfielder. We just got another midfielder. Another 20-year-old midfielder for like 22 million that we didn't need at all. But yeah, I like Wharton, but we're just so stacked in that area. I wouldn't bring him in. I think it would be stupid. I think honestly, with Enzo Caicedo, Lavia, if you're going to keep him, Santos, and then I would have kept Leslie, but now it's Sugo. That's good, and that's a good midfield core. That's good enough next season, I think. Did you see that if such times happen? I guess we get used to them. I saw that. I saw a tweet come out that said if we do end up, I think it was to do with Liam Delap. I think it said if we get Liam Delap, he would be brought in on top of another striker, so we'd have 3 strikers, which I just have to say is fucking stupid. Excuse my French. Like, what? We play with 1, which we barely rotated throughout the season anyway, with Maresca. Why are you now going to get another 2? Just get another 1 and be done with it. Like, go and get Gyökeres or Isak or Osimhen. Like, if you get Osimhen, for example, you might have to find a third striker. I'm not saying you go and buy one. I'm saying you maybe loan one. You maybe use Fofana, Datro, that is, if he's still here for like the month that we're losing both Jackson and Osimhen. I'm trying to think who else you could put there. Like, I can't think, right? But maybe in that sense you get one. But I'm saying that third striker in that situation should be a loan at best. Why would you get 3 strikers? When are they going to play? Because say Osimhen comes in, right? I'm using him because he's who I want personally, and he's the guy on the top of my list. As I said, I'm just using his name as an example. Say he comes in, he's going to start like 90% of the games. The games he doesn't start, the number 2 striker will start. So where the hell are is the number 3 striker going to get any minutes? Unless one of the first 2 strikers get injured, which if they do, what? Just absolutely madness. Yeah, just don't do the Liam Delap thing. Don't get the third striker, or maybe go and get a loan for like. Do you know what? No. Here's what you do. I found a perfect idea. Here's what you do. You go and sign Osimhen. That's your number 1 striker. You keep Jackson, and you go to LA. You take the guy that is struggling at the moment, who isn't really playing that much. When he is playing, it's not working. Former Chelsea cult hero Olivier Giroud, you go and get him on a loan for a year or 6 months or whatever. Like, that's what you go and do. And there you go. You got 3 strikers. You got someone who can step in for the month and a half or whatever it is that Jackson Osimhen are gone. And he's only on loan. He loves the club. He's old, so it doesn't really matter if he plays or not. But when he does play, he can give you something. There you go. Problem solved. Don't do this Liam Delap nonsense. Don't do this Liam Delap nonsense. Why keep Maresca when he can't improve centre-backs and forwards? I disagree with this. I think he has improved the forwards. I think Madueke has improved under him. I think Jackson's improved under him. I think Neto is showing. I don't know how to word this. I don't think he's improved necessarily from when he was at Wolves, but I think we're seeing, at least recently, a closer version of Neto. Or we've seen this season a closer version as time has gone on, a closer version of Neto to what he was doing at Wolves in some moments. I still think there's more to come, and there's certainly guys who I think have gone downhill. And Kunku, I don't think Palmer's performing anywhere near as well as he did last season in terms of performances, not just numbers, but just performances as well. I think Hiu has improved under him, which is good to see in the limited minutes we've seen. Sancho, yeah, it's just been a bit of an L in parts. And then Mudryk was improving and then decided to take drugs. So, see, I think it's been hit and miss in the forward line. I think it's kind of 50-50 in defence. Yeah, there's been less improvement, 100%. But I think if you look at our defense, Cole's been just tragic. Like, he started the season good, just fell off the cliff. I think he's just tragic. I think Fofana again is another one where it's like, up until the injury, he was starting to get back to what we'd seen at Leicester and starting to improve a little bit, but then got injured and had to come back kind of from that. Badiashile, nope. Disasi, nope. Chalobah, nope. Tosin, wouldn't say he's improved, but I'd say that he was able to come in and be kind of a consistent baseline, so to speak, for the team. So as again, I think it's been hit and miss. I wouldn't say that he's not improving players, full stop. I think that is false. Despite how bad it's been recently, I'm not going to say that he's not improving players. There are some players regressing under him. I'm also not going to say that there aren't. But I think it's been a bit of both for me, kind of on that. Do you know our owners, Daniel? These are the same guys, by the way, who have since the transfer window ended, the January transfer window, we have spent 55 million on under 18-year-olds. If you include the Asugo transfer, that's 77 million on a 20-year-old and 3 Denner, the striker, Quenda, and 3 under 18-year-olds. Fantastic. Bear with me 1 second, guys. Apologies for that. I did it came. But yeah, that's 3 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, and a 20-year-old, and we've spent 77 million. That's money that could have gone to Gyökeres or Osimhen. But no, we had to go and buy. Oh, and we're still looking at Mek, the other 16-year-old, who's going to cost us like 18 million. So that'll be another 18 million on top. So fantastic business. Amazing. I 100% agree as well. Muga's just a complete waste of time. He's going to go back out on loan to Strasbourg or be sold because reasons. Just reasons. Just reasons. I don't think Jackson works as a left wing in this formation or this style of play. He's not a touchline winger for me. And so therefore, like, I think he's someone, if your winger is going to play closer to the striker, I think he works. He's not a touchline winger for me. Or I think he can maybe play there, but I think you take away some of the good that he offers to you in the team by making him a touchline winger. No, I kind of agree. Like, I think to say he can never be an elite manager is way too early, right? Because I think we've seen sometimes elite managers. Obviously, most elite managers do click straight away, right? But I also think we see some elite managers do take their time and do have moments of missteps, right? I look at, for example, like I think Hansi Flick is in that conversation or on the cusp of that conversation. He had some missteps at the start of his career. Got sacked, I think, for Hoffenheim. Wasn't doing well. But then I think there was another one as well before he went to the German national team and became an assistant coach. It's like there's been missteps, but so I'm not gonna say he can't be an elite manager. But I agree that like he went from being really ruthless at the start of the season and making decisions that were the benefit of the team. You know, kicking Sterling, kicking Chilwell out of the team, Gallagher. Even though I didn't like it because I thought he could contribute to things like getting rid of Carney. Like, at least with these, even if I didn't agree with all of them, it was like, okay, you're being ruthless because these guys clearly don't, well, seemingly don't what you want to do, right? That I'm fine with. Even the Petrovic one, it annoyed me. It annoys me more now because of what's happened. But I was like, okay, if he doesn't fit the system and you feel like you can't teach him, then that's cool. He can leave. The fact we've now seen he can be taught by a manager with less experience, or not even less experience, but has coached at a lower level for worse teams than you have, and he managed to coach him into playing with his feet. It's not a good look. I'll be completely honest. It's not a good look, but I understood that. Why he's now gone from that to with the Sanchez thing and with the Nkunku thing. Well, the Nkunku thing's weird because like he was really ruthless, not giving him minutes at the start of the season, like any minutes outside the Conference League. Like he wouldn't really play him, but it would be like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, maybe a cheeky 10 minutes every once in a while. So now he plays a lot, and obviously there's the injuries part of that as well. But like, he played 75 minutes against Arsenal, and was tragic for like most of the all of the game. But yeah, I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I think he's lost a bit of his ruthlessness, which sucks. But I don't know why it is. I assume it has to do with the people upstairs and trying to placate them. And unfortunately, that is the world and the scenario we are currently working with and living in at the moment. Annoyingly, because otherwise, as I've stated before, I feel like if he does do stuff that is against what the people upstairs want him to do, he'll get sacked. And then if he's sacked, he's not guaranteed ever getting a job at this kind of level for the rest of his career. Like, obviously, it's early. He could do if he builds himself back up, but it's like you're already there, right? Like he's already at that kind of job, so you don't ever really want to lose it in that situation. So it must be hard for him. And I sympathize a little bit with him in that sense, but that's about it because then he makes it so much harder for himself with everything else that he does. Who would I take for me from this? So from this list, no Delap, no Sesko, Osimhen. Absolutely, that's my number one. I would take Jonathan David as like I said this the other day on I think on Lewis's stream, because I think someone was on there, and they basically said what they can see that the sporting directors doing is it them signing Jonathan David on a free because he's on a free in the summer. And I said unironically, and I stand by this, if they sign Jonathan David on a free, that would genuinely go up there as like arguably top 5, maybe even top 3 signings they've done since they've been here. And that just kind of shows you the level, because like that's a guy who's a proven goal scorer in multiple leagues, and especially a league that's easily translatable to the Premier League. He's scored in Champions League. He's experienced internationally. He has experience playing in a couple of different systems in a couple of different ways with a couple of different profiles around him. Just experience in general, which is nice. His skill set is very good in terms of good link-up play, good with both feet, good finishing, decent heading, I think. Good in has the ability to be able to drop in as well, which I like as well, and link play. So yeah, like that would unironically be a good signing for them, which is stupid. Just like I said, shows your level. Gyökeres would. Boniface is an interesting one. I don't know. Like he had an amazing season last season. Like he was doing so well, but I don't know how he's done this season. Like especially after the whole Saudi thing fell apart. Like I don't know, and the fact as well, to be fair, with that whole Saudi thing, the fact that Leverkusen was so willing to let him go because they had Schick there. Yeah, I don't know what he's done this season. He's the only one I'm unsure about because I don't know what he's done this season. But yeah, like I said, David's like a really outside the box, like kind of dark horse choice for me. Like if you've got no other option. But yeah, Gyökeres absolutely, and Osimhen absolutely. Delap and Sesko, no thank you. What else are you guys saying? Oh yeah, like Daniel, we should do this. I've already said the day the window opens. Like honestly, we might be out in America, but get whoever you want, Kitman, get Winstanley, Stewart, Egbali, like whoever you want, holding the jersey with Osimhen or Gyökeres or Isak. Like the moment they don't have to play the Club World Cup. I just want them there the day the window opens. It needs to happen. It won't happen, but it needs to happen. What else are we saying? We've got about 10 or so minutes, 10, 12 minutes left. There's only got like one other thing I really wanted to touch on. I've touched on briefly, but kind of go from there. How are people that are not the manager? I don't know. I think I don't know. Genuinely can't explain it. Like, and I don't really know how to word this. I don't think they're directly influencing who plays. Oh no, but they might be. I don't know. Like I don't know if they are or aren't. Like it just feels weird to me with the whole Sanchez thing. And maybe Maresca really does just love Sanchez, but I find that hard to believe. But yeah, I just don't know, to be completely honest with you. I don't know if how it works, what the owners are doing, if they're doing anything in that respect, because the idea of this seems ludicrous to me. Like the idea of, like you said, anyone not named the manager or the head coach, as he technically is, making decisions about who plays seems ludicrous. Like that seems like something straight out of like a film or a book or just fantasy, right? But it's also something that like I feel could be happening with, like, especially it's mainly with the Sanchez thing. So yeah, like I said, there's just no idea. I don't know at all. Um, yes, I do want. Yeah, if Liverpool want the lap, have at it, my friends. Like, go ahead. Um, I'd rather take Gyökeres, like I said, and then um, my number one, as I said, would be Osimhen, or even if, bro, break the bank for Isak, man. Who cares? We're getting 200 million or whatever it is from the Club World Cup. Just put that to Isak. Who cares? That's your striker sorted then. Like, you don't have to then like do anything after that. Um, just seeing if there's anything else I want to comment on that you guys are saying. We've had a sponsor. It's just this season. We had Infinite Athlete. Don't know why we didn't keep that for this season. Yeah, I don't know why they haven't done one this season. Genuinely, again, can't explain it. But we had Infinite Athlete last season, and there were talks of us getting a sponsor this season. I know there was Riyadh Air or Qatar Air or something that fell through. But yeah, I don't know. Not a finance person. I don't know what they're doing. Can't explain it, I'm afraid. But yeah, the last thing I just wanted to go through then, guys, before we wrap it up, was just kind of what the thumbnail talks about, of like, are we progressing? And I touched on a little bit with certain players, and I think it's really hard to say at this stage. I think if you'd have asked, the reason I say I think it's hard to say is I think if you'd have asked this question earlier in the season, the answer would have been yes. I think it would have been an absolutely resounding yes, because I think you saw players were playing well, most of them. You saw there was a team that was playing with cohesion. We were playing with um we were playing with just a level of intensity. We were playing good football. We were counter attacking. We were able to play possession. It looked good, even if certain players weren't always playing well. It like Enzo, for example, didn't start the season well. We were able to play through it, and I think, as I said, if you'd have asked me or asked most Chelsea fans at the start of the season, it would have been a yes. But now we're at a stage where it doesn't look like we are progressing, and even it's kind of the opposite. You've got guys that are performing well and are looking better than last season. Like you mentioned, Daniel, like Caicedo, he's another one. I think Maresca has done wonders for Caicedo this season. I think, say what you want about what he's done for other players, I think Enzo Maresca has improved Caicedo like tenfold this season. But even with him performing better, and I think Enzo outside the last three games performing better, and I think even outside of like Cucurella just being a complete monster of a man, and putting himself in contention alongside Caicedo for our player of the season. And again, Cucurella is another one. I think that Maresca has managed to get back to like his best, and looking like the best left back in the league. And he wasn't, like, even last season he was very good. He wasn't best left back in the league, and we haven't seen that really since he was at Brighton the final season before he came to Chelsea. And the fact Maresca has helped him get positive. But even outside of like those three and a couple of others, Reece James coming back and looking good, we're still stagnating. We're still looking worse in points. Other players are getting worse, especially in attack. Your Sancho's, I mean, Kunku never really had a good point anyway. Your Palmers. Yeah, I think it's hard to say. I think it's always an interesting question, and I think it is a question that I think is a bit unanswerable at the moment, just because it's gonna. I think a lot of people are gonna say no because of where we're at the moment and how we're playing, and I completely understand, and I wouldn't begrudge you and for saying that. We're not improving in it, or it doesn't look like we're progressing. Um, for this season, I think, like I said, I think a lot of the season for me is a bit not a write off per se, but I think we just got to kind of hope for the best in certain games, get the wins where we're meant to get the wins, your Ipswiches, your Tottenhams, your Everton at home, and then kind of go from there. And I think the summer is going to be key yet again. It's another key summer, as is every summer, as is every window with these sporting directors and owners, where these guys have to back him. If he's going to stay, and like I said, I think as long as we get top four or Champions League because of fifth and Conference League, he should stay. Plus, with the quick turnaround of everything, they have to back him. They have to go and get the players that are going to fit. Don't get me Sanchez in goal. I know he was here before, but that's not good enough. Don't get me Swiss Army knife players that don't really want to be Swiss Army knife players, that aren't actually really Swiss Army knife players because they can't play in multiple positions. Don't give me a João Felix who Maresca doesn't want and won't play. Don't give me a KDH who's a waste of time that he's not going to play. Don't do that. Go and get players who are going to improve his squad and fit what he wants to play. Because if you're not going to do that, if you're just going to go and do the usual bollocks that you're doing at the moment, and Daniel, I'm not even talking about experience. That's a whole different ball game. Even if you want to do young players, right? Like this Asugo kid. Even Asugo, even though I'm against the signing, if he fits the system, at least he fits the system, right, in that scenario. The experience I can argue about, but at least if he fits the system, cool, you've bought someone that fits the system. He doesn't have to learn that as much. At the very bare minimum, do that. The experience is a completely different thing. I understand. I've been calling for it, but at least go and find a player, get players that fit the system. If you are not going to do that, if you're going to continue to get these players, your Felix like type players, your Nkunkus, your if you're going to go and sign wingers that want to play with an actual number 9 but don't have an actual number 9, if you're going to sign terrible keepers or centre back, still sack him now. What's the like? You might as well sack him because you're just delaying the inevitable. Because we've seen what Maresca is. As much as I do like him for the most part, for some of the stuff he's doing, he is very much a manager who needs his pieces to work. If he doesn't have his pieces, it will not work. So if he doesn't have his pieces, it won't work. And then we're going to be talking about this 2 or 3 months down the line, and then you'll have to sack him, and that'll be 2 or 3 months wasted. So if he is going to prove himself to not be good enough, let him do that with all the tools available. It's like a chef, right? It's like in any profession, right? Like let's use the chef example. I don't know if a chef is good or not. Like I'm not going to know if a chef is good or not if I give him a selection of some really good products, like the top of the line, like top range products and stuff that he can cook with, and then I go and get him bargain bucket shit where it's like he's getting rotten eggs and stuff he can't cook. Like, how do I at that point? He might be a terrible chef. Like, it might not matter what ingredients you give him. It might just not work regardless, right? But there's still that element of doubt because he's still got the crap in all of that he can't really cook with. Give him the best ingredients that he can possibly have. And if he fucks it up, cool. He is the issue. We know he's the issue at that point. Because right now, even though Maresca's at fault for some things, and like I said, I blame him for the Arsenal game, and like I blame him for picking Sanchez, it's still like his goalkeeper options right now are Sanchez or Jorgensen. Like, it's pick your poison. It's pick whichever's the least crap, and it should be Jorgensen, but honestly, I don't think he's it either. With your centre backs, it's outside of Fofana, who's only just come back from injury, and like I like Chalobah. I think he is good. He's come back and not been good. I'll be completely honest, but I think on his day he's our second best centre back. The rest of them, it's like again, pick your poison. Like you're picking between Disasi when he was here, terrible. Badiashile, terrible. Colwill, terrible. Tosin, like good but not amazing. Like it's kind of a 6 out of 10 most games. Chalobah's been crap since he's come back outside the one game. Don't give him crap, because then when he gives you crap because the players aren't there, I don't know whether to cuss him out. I don't know whether to cuss the players out. The sporting directors, like, because they all kind of get it. Whereas if they go and get him Osimhen, and Osimhen's getting no chances and not getting no goals, I know where the fault lies. If we go and get Osimhen and we go and get, let's just say Barcola, I know we're not, it's the first name that comes to mind when I think of wingers. If we go and get those two, and we go and get Gehi at the back, and we go and get Petrovic, and he comes back in our goalkeeper, and we still look crap, I know where the fault lies at that point, and we can fix that issue easily. But right now, you're not giving him, you're giving him crap. You're not giving him what he wants, and so it's looking crap, especially when you've got pieces that are, as we're seeing, despite how people may feel about them, in Noni and Jackson, key pieces to his system. When they're out, we look awful. And this is Noni and Jackson I'm talking about. This is not Barcola. This is not Robbins of old and Ribery's and your well-beaten wingers. This is not Didier Drogba. Big up to him. This is not Osimhen. This is not Torres in his prime, Suarez. I'm talking about Nicholas Jackson. And these are the players that are key to his system because of what we have right now. So, like I said, fix that and then judge him from the summer in terms of fully judge him. Because, like I said, if people want him out now, I understand. If people aren't happy, I understand. You've got every right, especially after the Arsenal game and what's happening. But there's still that doubt in the back of my head. There's still that, what happens if he gets better players? Because that is always the case with Chelsea at the moment. Because even Potter, like I said, as crap as he was, and I truly do despise him, and I think he's one of our worst managers ever, and I think he's worse than Maresca. Even with him, that's still a little small thing in the back of my mind of like, okay, if you'd given him better players, if you'd given him players that more suited what he wanted to do, would we have seen a little bit of a change? Would he have gone so far the other way at the start of the season when we lost in Kunku? Would it have taken him 33 games to actually create a system that suited what we had? Maybe, maybe not. But there's always that little bit of doubt, right? But yeah, guys, that's where we're gonna leave it. Gone about an hour or so. If you've got any other comments, anything you want to chat with me about, if you disagree with anything I've said, agree, leave them down in the comments below. Like I said earlier, everyone that's here, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new. We've got a bunch of content coming out. I think Alex is even doing a watch along for the England game on the weekend. I don't particularly care about the international break. I'm just holding my hands up with the England squad, by the way. I don't have much to say. Just Jordan Henson and Kyle Walker, wow. And the fact that Dan Burn is one of the centre-backs I play is incredible. But yeah, as I said, big up everyone that's joined. I will be back. I think I'm doing the show Thursday evening. So probably see you guys then. I've got to think about what to talk about and see what's going on, see if we get any news between now and then. Big up everyone. Enjoy your evening if you are in the UK, and enjoy your afternoon, morning, wherever else you are in the world. And I'll see you guys again on Thursday. Big up everyone. Up the Chelsea.